Well, my darlings, we are here with a Nancy Guthrie update. I'm going to bring you up to speed a little bit, and then I'm going to show you something that I've never done on this channel. And I want to show you so that you yourself can really start thinking about how this lands. Now, you're going to hear my son in the background. You know, it's a tournament day. That's okay. We live here in the land, in the land of the House of Zelda. So there we go, my darlings. Let's get started with the big book of Bull. And I think Sir Bunny may be here to make an appearance as well, because we got a lot to talk about. And thank you, my darlings. I've been a little absent, taking care of some allergies. So today we're going to start off, and this is day 94 of Nancy Guthrie. She's been missing for 94 days. Now, psychically, that's past the 3-month mark. Now it has gone into what I call psychic silence. And you're going to be finding out a lot more about that in a minute. But right now, I just want to bring you up to speed that there's no suspects, there's no arrests, and the son-in-law and daughter have been cleared by the Pima County Sheriffs. To me, there's a lot more in clearing, but hey, who am I? And this is for entertainment purposes only. So in the past 72 hours, we're going to talk about some things that have happened. In the past 72 hours, the sheriff has renewed a public plea. And that is, help, Batman, help. No, it isn't that, but I wish he could. And for those of you who have any information, you may call 88-CRIME if you are in or even out of the United States. I think it works that way too. Or we're going to do 1-800-225-5324. Jot those down if you need them, because you just never know. Drop a dime so they do the time. That's the way it is. Now, as we stand, the DNA that they have of samples of hair, and I'm going to say and of the DNA that have been found from also the glove, have been already shipped off to Quantico, the FBI lab from Florida. Now, here's what I am not really certain about. Yesterday, May 4th, to me, this is odd, and I'll tell you why. The family asked the inner circle to stay quiet. And that goes for you church friends out there of Nancy. Everybody on the inner circle. Now, the ransom notes, we're not even going to go there this time because they've been unverified. But I want to also tell you, I want to give you a misinformation alert. Yeah, I got caught up in that about Longmont, Colorado, with the other Nancy Guthrie, bless her heart. I confirmed with some of these sources, and some of them were in print. Oh yes, Lady Zelda, this is Arizona, this isn't Colorado, this is the Arizona. And I'm like, are you sure? Yes. And of course, I ultimately retracted that, because then we found out. And after I got yelled at here on the channel, okay, many of you are kind. That happens to the best of both of us, but I'm also going to give you another alert and I would not even click on it. If you see something, the viral post of Tommaso arrested and Nancy found gone, and you know that's the D word, that's completely false. Don't amplify any of those videos, because now is the time that a lot of these people, you know, it happens in true crime cases. It happens everywhere, but especially now. Those are clickbait. Those you just don't even want to get caught in that. But now, there's something else that we're going to get caught in on April 29th. There was, at 11 p.m., a gray F-150 that was spotted a little over a half a mile from Nancy. From Nancy's house. Sorry. Nancy's house. Now, no one is ever going to tell me that that house does not hold energy. That's for sure. But there we are with that. Now, I'm going to change pens. I do this in different colors for a reason. I'll tell you that someday. Now, this is so weird because this late model, I mean, they're thinking that it is a 2021 to a 2024 with the headlights, the high beams were left on, parked in a neighbor's driveway. The license plate was obscured by all of this, by backlighting, and this was deliberate. Why? Because it blinds, the Ring camera of any home that is out there that catches this. Now, I just think this is deliberate. Now, what were they doing? I mean, let's think about this. Well, they were there to steal a cactus, of course. I mean, why else would you be parking in a driveway close to Nancy's and you would be there to steal a cactus, right? Right. It was likely a saguaro cat. Why am I having that problem? Pardon me, it's not mercury, I can tell you that. But likely a saguaro or a barrel cactus. And I'm going to tell you something. On the black market, that thing is worth probably about $100 a foot. But is it worth risking that? I don't think that this was that type of thing. I don't think that it was somebody, as in a tourist, or somebody that was just wanting something to sell on the internet, because this was too deliberate. Why? Well, first of all, the subject wore a ball cap, dark one, black, down over his face. Well, I don't know, kind of like Agent Ooblegada without the Agent Ooblegada. I mean, after all, if you know, you know, right? But he wore a baseball cap, the dark gloves, a face gator mask. Ugh, forgive me today. He was medium build. He moved quickly, and he kept low at the center of gravity. So he was kind of low, and he moved with efficiency. He was not a casual thief. So the cactus itself, a mature specimen, probably. You see, a mature specimen can sell anywhere from $2 to $5,000. But is it worth it? It requires a special knowledge to move without taking the carpet remnants, cradle tools, all these other stuff. These things are heavy. And not to mention, have you ever gone close to a cactus like this? You see, from an aesthetic and practical standpoint, stealing a cactus in Arizona is far more than just picking up a plant. It is a high risk, high reward crime that requires specific knowledge and a physical strength. You know, I think of that, what was it, that kid saw Hercules, right? But here's why, behind the cactus, the thief, and why it has become such a chilling detail in this Nancy Guthrie case. This is why. Now here's the rub, my darlings. First of all, this gray F-150, it's kind of like every landscaper in the area. So he feels that he's going to be going through this maybe undetected. That right there. Now I'm going to also tell you, I have found out that the Pima County Sheriff, and you probably know this already, is looking into if any of these tire tracks match anything from February 1st. Well, that's going to be a tack in itself, isn't it? Because how much traffic has gone through there? Unless somebody has gone through, my darlings, and had gotten any type of tread print, which I don't know. I mean, I don't think we ever saw anybody doing that. But okay, I guess that's what they feel they need to do. So that's it. So the sheriff is looking into this, and they're looking into whether this gray F-150 seen on the 29th has any tire tracks around Nancy's other than what I don't know. I don't know how they feel they're going to be successful in that. But okay, Sheriff, if you need something to do, all right, there you go. But there's something more. And I want to share this with you because, first of all, I do not believe it is a landscaper. And I've said in some of my previous videos, it's of my opinion that, you know, people always return to the scene of the crime. And do you remember that movie that I pointed out to you? Yeah. People always return to the scene of the crime. And I believe, in my opinion, don't have that fact, but I believe that he's been there before. But here's the thing. Let's turn the page here. Stealing a cactus. I mean, this guy's brave. Walks right up to the front toward the porch, picks it up, put two of them, puts it back into the bed of his truck, and skippity-doo-dah right on down the road. But here's the thing. I don't know that we can depend on just thinking that somebody stole these for souvenir purposes. Because here's my view, and you know how I feel about the energy and the house and all these things. And I'm getting to where I'm going to show you something that you haven't seen before. But before we get there, we've got to cover this. Stealing a cactus is symbolic act of removing the home's protection. That's what it is. From a psychic standpoint, this person came in and wanted to remove the home's protection. These plants are the ancient sentinels of the desert. To have one stolen, and especially in a neighborhood that is already haunted by Nancy's disappearance and feels like a deliberate stripping away of the safety. That's where this comes through. That's where this comes from me. Because I can tell you this. This is going to be very interesting because this footage of this criminal, this perp, who was that brave, exists. And there's many people looking to see into this footage. I mean, it's amazing sometimes what people can find. But I'm going to tell you something. Let me go back here. That 0.6 of a mile right there from Nancy's isn't just the mask, it's geography. It was done deliberately, purposely. It wasn't that somebody just drove down the road and went, oh, hey, Margaret, how would you like to have those potted cacti? I will go ahead and stop by at 11 p.m. one night and lift them up and take them to you because they can be pretty heavy. And consider the pot. I mean, think about this. Think about it. Even taking up a cactus out of the ground, these things can weigh up to 500 pounds. So this guy, and I'm not saying that he did that, but I'm going to say this guy had some strength. And was he showing us that he had the strength to pick one of these things up? Could he have picked up Nancy and carried her out as well? He was pretty quick and pretty light on his feet. Could he have just skippity-dooed right out on, boom, take Nancy? Could he have done that? Could he have put her in the back of the truck and nobody may have known? If you put her a tarp, because usually, to move a cactus, you have to have carpet, you have to have all these things because they're just dangerous, because if you got pricked by one of those, it can cause severe infections. Makes you kind of wonder. So here, now we're going to start doing what I want you to know. What I'm going to show you today, I call a target analysis or a link analysis. You may have heard it that way, or it can be I believe they call it an SNA. I think it is. It's a social network analysis. Here's what you do. Here's what I do. If you're going to do this, you draw a small circle like this. And then you draw another one around it. You see why I call it a target? Now here's really what makes it the target. That's a target. And that's why I call it that. Now, my darlings, here's what you do in something like this. This is Nancy. You see? We're going to try to make this as visible to you as you possibly can. In this first row, we've got Savannah. These are the people that she knows. This is Annie. This is Tommaso. And we're just going to put grandchildren here. Those are the people. Those are the people that she knows. Now, those are the closest to her relatives. Now, let's take this one step further. Who does Savannah know? Well, Savannah knows her husband. Who does her grandchildren know? Well, they know schoolmates. Who does Annie know? I'm sure work people. Her work people. And so does Savannah. Work. How about Tommaso? Work and a bandmate. So you take it out like that. Now, here's where it gets really interesting. You take it one further. Let's just say there's a landscaper. Here is a cleaner. And of course, we're going to add Nancy's church friends in here too. You see how that goes? So we've got a pool person. We've got a roofer. Now, here's what you do, my darlings. You take this and you start writing in all of these people, and I like to put them in quadrants. Who knows who? Well, Annie, of course, knows Tom, and vice versa. Savannah knows the grandchildren, vice versa. She knows Tom, vice versa. You see how this goes? But does Nancy know Annie's work people? Possibly. Does Nancy know Savannah's work people? Yes. Does she know the husband? Yes. Does she know the landscaper? Yes. The pool? Yes. Cleaner? Roofer? Yes. Does Nancy know the bandmate? Yes, she does know him. Does Nancy know any of the people from the school where Tommaso had taught, where he was an educator? Maybe. So see, you start putting little question marks here. Who did she know? Who did she not know? She may have been introduced to a couple of Annie's workmates, but that's how you do a target link analysis. Now this will get really, really deep, because now what you're going to do is you're going to put out here Pima County. You're going to put over here the FBI. You're going to put over here deputies. You're going to put over here more deputies. You see how this works? Now, you start figuring in the timeline of everything. Well, Nancy was dropped off by Tommaso at a particular time. And quite frankly, I'm going to tell you this. I have not subscribed to that theory of him walking her in. I have not subscribed to that. Some people say, well, I don't even believe she got there. Yeah, I do, because it's pretty evident that she left from there. People said she left in her bedclothes. The one time I got a little peek at her, it didn't look like she had her bedclothes on, but I mean, maybe, okay? Some people dress differently to go to bed. And you start putting question marks, because I still have that question mark right there. Now, I know law enforcement has said that they have been cleared. Then I put some question marks over here, because then we have the crime scene. You see, Nancy also has her home. That's also an active crime scene as far as I'm concerned, even though they say it isn't anymore. But then here, let's go a little bit further, okay? Because now Nancy knows bankers. She knows lawyers. People in the neighborhood, neighbors know her. Now I'm going to tell you another thing. You may or may not have heard this, but someone has been writing letters to one of Nancy's neighbors saying that they know who did this, they know this, they know that, and to please forward these letters to Brian Entin. Now, I'm not sure when they were written, but the neighbors have handed these over to the FBI, rightfully so. Now, here's a question for you, my darlings, and I think you're going to be able to answer this. So why, here, I'm getting excited and I'm losing my table here. So why would people start contacting neighbors? Look, Zelda's going too quick here. Neighbors, TMZ. Why would they be contacting all these people? Is it because they lost their trust? Do people have the trust? And law enforcement, I'm not saying yay, I'm not saying no. But quite frankly, I still feel that something is not right. Something is wrong. Now, I'm also going to tell you this. There's a lot of these people that are saying, oh, there was an essay, and there was this crime, and there was that. Listen. Oh, somebody wanted Savannah, so they came back and they took. Listen to that. Listen and use your gut instinct and your common sense. Let's be logical. There's only two reasons that Nancy was taken. This is just not your everyday kidnapping, and I'm sorry to say it in that fashion, but it sometimes does happen every day, worldwide. And it's a ransom-style kidnapping. This wasn't it. There's two reasons. Number one would be money. Number two, revenge. Revenge against who? Nancy didn't do anything. No, she didn't. But sometimes in these big levels of life, I'm going to say that, people, they're used as examples. And I'm going to tell you, I totally believe that Miss Nancy, not Nancy Zelda, let's try it again. Nancy Guthrie was an example. But who to? Look, they even did this kind of thing in the Bible. Look, this type of thing has been going on for a very, very, very long time. You just don't hear about it. The only reason that we really know about it is because of Savannah. And I'm going to tell you, who do I believe has a ground floor responsibility? NBC. Remember that? Why? Well, because they encouraged Savannah to have that 2019 interview. They encouraged Savannah to bring her mother on. Now, I know, but who would think that she would need extra security? Well, who would think to leave your mom alone without a subscription to Ring cameras or Nest cameras or wherever? I don't know. Who would think to, okay, taking an Uber? Now look, life is just the way it is, and you never believe anything is going to happen. But if my 84-year-old mother, and bless her heart, she'd made it till she was 58, but even so, I would not allow her to go unprotected. Now, the Uber driver has definitely been interviewed and gave information to the FBI along with video. I would say that's probably the only person that has been cleared in this. But you know how law enforcement feels. So at this point, my darlings, anytime this works, this social network analysis, you're going to hear it called three things. I like to call it a target analysis because look at it. Look at it. It's a target analysis. And when you start making it into quarters and you start putting time, now we're not going to do that because we'll be here another 3 or 4 hours. But how I do this, if I ever showed you my target analysis, I have like twice big paper, and you just keep going out further and further, and you start linking the dots, and you start going this way, and you start saying, because remember, Nancy is in the middle. She's the bullseye. She's the target. She is what the goal was for this perp. It's very sad and very amazing all at the same time. But if you approach this as a forensic person would, now, of course, I'm certainly not law enforcement, and I'm certainly not qualified as forensic, but I'm a forensic psychic, and I'm a forensic tarot profiler. And when you start looking at the energy of the home and how taking these cacti or cactus away from, these are sentinels. They are there for a reason. And Nancy has had them landscaped in there for a reason. Now, am I saying that this person is a landscaper? I don't believe so. But does he look like one? Look, if you're looking through the mind of a criminal, you're going to want to throw law enforcement off. You're going to want to think about something. What would the reward be aside from stealing a cactus from this haunting situation? I don't know. Some people get kicks from that. I don't think so. Is worth getting caught worth maybe $2,000 to $5,000 you can get on the black market? I don't know, but I can tell you this right now. I've been looking on eBay. I've been looking on all of these Facebook Marketplace. I've been looking at all these places to see if I can find any type of indication. Craigslist. I have a cactus from a crime scene. Yeah. And I've not found anything yet, but that doesn't mean I'm not going to. So my darlings, yeah, I'm going to be writing something that it's an ebook you can use. It's got links. It's got all kinds of things that you can find out. A lot of information is public, and you can find it out very, very easily. Now this Saturday night, depending upon how I feel, because it's a huge energy grab, I may try to look into the mirrors of Nancy's home. I'm going to try. There's no guarantee whether I can or can't. Stay tuned. Definitely stay with me. Saturday night, 7 p.m. Eastern. That's New York time. We're going to talk about the crimes. We're going to talk about other things here that's going on. Because there's another thing that I want to tell you. That information that came out over the weekend about Ms. Nancy Guthrie from Colorado, and bless her heart, those pieces of that puzzle started to come together. Now, I want you to know this. I do not believe it was coincidence. Sometimes these are little trigger signs in the psychic world to say, hey, we found something here. Let's look further. Let's look out. Let's see if perhaps the other Nancy Guthrie could be here. Now, I'm not comparing one to the other, but I'm going to say this. It is not a coincidence. It is not in my realm. Nothing is coincidence. For me, it is not a coincidence that all of a sudden this information was found in May, like I said, near different things like an SUV. All these things started adding up, and that's why I kept saying to this two people that I know, are you sure? Are you sure this is it? This seems almost in some ways too easy. Are you sure it's Nancy? And oh, yes, yes. And even one newspaper printed it that way. And I thought, okay, they must have their outliers. And, of course, my buddy, whom I call whatever, also called, couldn't get any information. And sometimes that's why they do it, because people kind of go quiet. Now, I'm going to ask you one more thing. Since the family has asked everyone in their social network, do you see how this comes in? Do you see how this comes together? Since they have asked everyone in their social network, have they to just not say anything, to be quiet, not their inner circle? You know what that tells me? I'm going to tell you, they know something now. And what they don't want is people jumping on the bandwagon and saying, yep, okay, here we go. And going to crime scenes and going to places and hosing things up, because you know what? They've already done that with Nancy's home. So, again, and I say it all the time, if you feel that Nancy or any other crime that has occurred, do not get involved with the investigation in itself. Don't go there. Don't be around, because sometimes a lot of energy being poured out. We saw that in Nancy's place. All this energy being poured out and everybody calling in, and I think that it was an alien abduction. No, it wasn't that ridiculous, but almost. Almost. And a lot of energy. But the silence. You know, there's an old saying, I know all of you have heard it. Silence is golden, but duct tape is silver. You know what that means? Keep your mouth shut. It means, and I believe that's why the family and church friends, because I do believe, and I'm going to tell you what, I saw those photos of Nancy playing that little game, Mahuan, that she liked. I know I don't say it correctly, that she likes. And I think it was a day or two before she was abducted with her buddies. You know, we all have buddies like that. That gave me the chills. That gave me the chills. Study the surroundings. Study the surroundings. What was in that room with them? Study. I still have my ideas. But on this channel, we base things based on the facts of the investigation, and try to. But why would the family say be silent? In my experience of many years, that's why people do. Because something is about to break or something is about to know. And I always said, May is going to be a month. I think we're going to hear something. But also, listen, be careful of following the trends. You know, 1 week is the DNA. The entity is it's the porch. You know, the next thing it's this. The next thing it's that. The next thing it's this. And it just keeps all of this emotion. And when the sheriff comes out, and please, and be a friend of mine and jot down those numbers, please. Drop a dime and allow the crime to go away. But I think the problem is there's been so many people that have called on this particular case. I mean, whomever called the Pima County most likely got fluffed off. Maybe that's why the neighbors are getting notes. It could be why TMZ got the ransom note. Maybe they got calls. I mean, there were tens of thousands of calls coming into the FBI into Pima County. And you know, after you hear them, after a while, you're sitting there going, yes, were they the Grays, or were they, what kind of ship did they come in on? Did they have a beam? Did they show down? Or did they, you know what I'm talking about. Sometimes these things can get absolutely ridiculous. And then we see somebody on another channel, and bless that other channel person, who claims that he's related. Be cautious. Be careful. Okay, that's what it's all about. Let's get the cards out. Here we are back again, and I have Kitty sneezing and snoring and all kinds of things over in here, so if you hear any of that, hey, welcome to the House of Zelda. We have 4 card decks today. What's the vibe? What lies beneath? the Biotnik, and of course, my friend, this cartomancy. We're going to lay these out because I've got questions. I know you do too. And I'm going to start with what's the vibe, and my question for the house energy. My question is, at this point for me, yes, where is Nancy? What happened to her? But at this point, I want these pieces of this puzzle need to come together. It's 3+ months. But here's my first question, my friends. Why did the family say to go silent? Why did the family... I'm not going to finish that sentence. I want to see what the cards say. Why did the family say to go silent? This is interesting. Narcissist, egotistical, opportunist, and fragile. Why did you give me this card? Why are we looking at personality? Why are we looking at that card when it come out? Did you see it? Antisocial, in your feelings, silent, left out. That's interesting, isn't it? The cards never disappoint me. And the way the puzzled. Now, that is confused, perplexed, and conflicted. Oh. What I was going to say is, sometimes I'd rather have a conversation with my cards. There's an epiphany. Self-reflection. I don't like that image. I like to go by the word. Self-reflection, answered questions, and untapped talent. Okay, so what that's telling me is they know something. There was a revelation. There were some things that have come up, and they don't... Now, you saw me shuffle. Okay, so they've had an epiphany. There's a revelation. They've had a thought. They know something. So they're telling everyone not to mingle. Look, I don't know why they said that to be. They've been that nothing but that. And only because of public outcry have any of them come forth and said anything, in my opinion. I think that everybody would like to hear from the family, and especially Annie and Tommaso. Wouldn't you like to hear from them? I would. I would. Let's get one more card. Burned bridges, lack of trust, disloyal, turned back. Okay, so somebody, they know someone. They've had an epiphany. They know someone. They are figuring things out. There's a lack of trust. Someone within their inner circle, from what I'm getting in the cards now, listen, the cards and the energy doesn't lie. You know that. But someone in the inner circle has betrayed someone's trust. Well, we hear about this. Oh, and there is a card in there. Let's take that one out. Yes. Oh, look what card this is. These images do not match, but I like the cards themselves, so it is what it is. Stagnant, but look at this. Stuck. A dead end. So they feel that the investigation now is stuck. It's stagnant. It's dead end. It's frozen, but they found something. Are they going to reveal it? Are they protecting somebody? Did you just hear me get excited? Yeah, I did. Are they protecting someone? Do me a favor while I'm shuffling. Put your little sweet DNA on... Put your DNA on the like button, please. And you just heard Sammy go all over. All right, here we are. And bump that subscribe. That helps me so much. All right, here we are. Total drama. Oh, that's why they're going silent. That's why they've frozen I'm going to say they have frozen things or trying to figure out how to present this to people. Is that what they're doing? Have they tried to present this? Have they tried? Is the drama real? Is it? Oh, I think I just saw one of those other cards in here. And you know, I think a long time ago, I put 2 of those cards in this deck because it just made things interesting. And yes, you can do that. It doesn't violate anything. If it comes out, then okay. If it doesn't, then okay. That's how it works. You are in control. Okay, so are they trying to squelch? Are they trying to hide? Oh, so what they have to bring forward, does that mean game over? For I don't believe the investigation. I believe whomever it is about is game over. Maybe I was wrong. Maybe I thought I saw a card there. Okay. There it was. It's in here somewhere, my dears. Caution. Okay, so they're taking caution going forward because they've been betrayed by someone, somewhere, somehow. Let's keep going. Who did this betrayal? Who was the betrayal with? I know what y'all are asking, and I know what y'all are saying, but you know, these are the tubes of, and I shan't. Fake friends. Oh. Okay. Okay, I get it. Sadness. Fortune. You see, we talked about this. Let me get Moisha. Here we are. Say hello to Moisha and his little hand. All right. I have names for everything. I'm not like some of those, oh, she's pretty. You see those YouTube videos where they're on there and, oh, she's pretty. No. We address things properly. Let me know in the comments. Do you name things as well? So Moisha, do your thing. Do you see how the other day we talked about this cornucopia, this horn of plenty, but how yet things are, how you can lose a fortune? Have they lost something? Because now it's just pure sadness, and this woman is sitting in her home. Now, I don't believe Nancy is at home. And I believe that they've held on to hope. But now is that hope shattered? And look at the water reference. Pointing. Oh my goodness. These are the cards we had the other day, and I shuffled. Because, look at this. The reference of these. And I've used these way before. Since. Look at this. Pointing toward losing. Pointing toward, oh, that's amazing. That's amazing. Let's keep going. And you know what? There's that card. Did you see it? You saw it. You guys see everything. You saw it. Let's take it. We're gonna let that to the end. Yes, because Nancy was sick. Or is there someone else that is ill? You see, this is when I get excited about card reading, is when it makes you stop and think. What is happening? So the family has asked to go silent. I do believe because they have found something, and look, there's that card. And there's the woman card. And there, oh, okay. I believe that may be Annie. That may be the throwaway person. That person who was in front of the camera. I don't believe that Tommaso or Annie were in front of that jackhammer for the porch guy. Many people thought, I don't believe that. What I believe, you want to know why? I'm going to tell you why. I'm going to talk about this very gingerly. Annie is not built like Savannah, obviously. Annie has got some front-loaded assets. Let me just say it that way. All of us sometimes do. If you tried to put a jacket on, like the porch guy, and zip it up, only those with front-loaded assets would understand. It doesn't matter if you bind up or not. Now stay with me. You're going to be able to know and to understand, that is a woman. Doesn't matter how hard you try. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Here is this 4 of clubs. This 4 of clubs, my darlings, is all about, we've talked about this 100 times. For those of you who are just new, the 4 of clubs, a 4-poster bed, back in ancient civilization when they read the cartomancy, because cartomancy became, well, it was first. The tarot came from the cartomancy. Many people think it's the other way around, and no. The tarot came from cartomancy, the playing cards. They call it playing cards because they used to play games with these. And then somebody, bright idea along the way. But this looks like, and the 4s, the way that I read, are just, they're that number, they're that card that just is like, oh, shoot. A 4. What do we do? Now, sometimes it's the foundation, and depending upon the reading, and depending upon the numerology that goes along with it. You see, there's a lot of outlying factors. But this particular card means someone is in bed with the devil and they know it. Now, I don't mean, I'm metaphorically speaking. I'm not talking about physically. I'm talking about metaphorically. This card is all about being swindled. So, did the family find out? Did they have this epiphany that somebody along the way, because poor Nancy in that picture where she was playing that game with her buddies, that's Sammy eating, by the way, over there, she did not look like she was doing very well. Bless her. But I'm not talking about physically being, I'm talking about partaking in something you know that's wrong and you do it anyway. That's what they call in bed with the devil. And this whole thing of, could it be that the family is saying, don't, they had this epiphany of what happened and now they're saying, no, we're not going to say anything. Don't say anything. We got to figure this out. We got to lawyer up. We got to do whatever. I don't know. I'm going to say it that way. But this card is all about, let me see. This card is all about, I had to check on Sammy for a minute. This card is all about, well, it's a bad card. It's the same equivalent as the death card in the tarot. It is an ending, but it also is about legal matters. It's also about a timing card. This started in the winter. Now we're in the spring, and approaching next month, toward the 3rd week of July will be, June, will be summer. But this is not a good card. It means loss. It means endings. Okay. So now, drum roll, please. Let's do this. Today, good vibes in the moment. Today. Will we be finding something out today? Did something happen today? What are we supposed to be seeing at the bottom of the deck? Laughter, joy, happiness, healing. Okay. That's kind of odd. But we're going to keep watching. because sometimes in these situations, before the gauntlet drops, there's this emotional upheaval, and we could see that. Let's see this. Betrayal. And I really feel that that's the underlying current, and we already had that. Remember, where is that? Lack of trust, disloyalty, turn their back on, backstab. Not to be trusted, a traitor, betrayal. Oh, that pretty much spells it out. What do we have in this? Unexpected joy. Could they find Nancy? Could they celebrate finding Nancy? I hope so. I hope so. Because you know what? That just puts the closure. And it does for all of us, my darlings. And then we start on part 2 of this. We wait for the ME. We wait for all of that to happen, right? This, indecisions. Yes, I truly believe in my heart, my opinion, this is entertainment. I believe there are some decisions that the family has to make, and they're undecided of what to do right now. Stay tuned, my darling, Saturday night. And hey, I'm going to post a video on True Oracle that's going to take this further. Stay tuned, and thanks for being here.